Alrighty then. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Matthew Baker of Beautiful New York Tours. A very charming young lady told me that she and her mother watched these videos every evening before bedtime, that I had become part of their quarantine routine. And could I do a piece about the Tavern on the Green? Well, how do I say no after being told something like that? It was so sweet. I really appreciate it, and it's taken me long enough to get to just because there have been so many other very interesting requests. Now, Tavern on the Green, of course, is a legendary restaurant that has lived many lives. But its most important life, the life that we think of and remember and see in most of the pictures, is an incarnation of this restaurant that we really owe to one man, and his name was Warner LeRoy. Long before Warner LeRoy picked up the lease for Tavern on the Green in the mid-1970s, it had been a restaurant, this beautiful old brick building in Central Park that had been designed as a sheepfold back in the 19th century, became a restaurant for the first time in the 1930s when the park was under the direction of the notorious Robert Moses, the most powerful unelected official in New York City history. And it sort of puttered along as a restaurant for many years, usually losing money. The New York Times referred to it as a rustic, money-losing pub. And you can see old postcards from the 1950s incarnation of Tavern on the Green that looks very drab and ordinary, and the only thing it's got going for it is its Central Park location. So along comes the year 1976, and Warner LeRoy gets the bid from the city to operate Tavern on the Green. Now, here it is. It's 1976. This is the New York of Taxi Driver, of Death Wish, of the taking of Pelham 123. This is the New York that President Ford is about to say drop dead to. It's going bankrupt. Crime is at an all-time high. Safety is an all-time low. It is the bad old days of New York City. People did not feel safe jogging in the park. People were putting graffiti and vandalism in the park with impunity. No one wanted to go to Central Park. And here comes this wunderkind. Warner LeRoy was the son of Mervyn LeRoy, the Hollywood producer who financed The Wizard of Oz. It makes sense when you consider the kind of magical fairyland that LeRoy created and made Tavern on the Green become for the next 25 years. LeRoy was not a restaurateur in the traditional sense. He loved restaurants. His first was Maxwell's Plum, which was a grand, elegant garden of the swinging singles of the 60s, complete with an all-celebrity clientele and, high-end decor. And his last was the renovation of the Russian Tea Room, which reopened shortly before his death in 2001. And he said, a restaurant is a fantasy, a kind of living theater in which the diners are the most important members of the cast. It is one of the few creations that appeal to all of the senses, and one with which I can create my own world. Warner LeRoy, before he was anything else, was a showman. It makes sense that these restaurants that were all about their decor, all about their experience, all about the sensory overload of elegant dining, that these restaurants would be established by the man who created and financed Great Adventure. Going to Tavern on the Green was that. Whether you were listening to jazz in the Chestnut Room or enjoying the over-the-top elegance of the Crystal Room with its emerald green chandelier, or of course out in the garden, this was the kind of glitz and glamour that Warner LeRoy believed in. One of the things people did not like about LeRoy's Tavern on the Green was everyone liked to claim that the food wasn't very good. I ate there, and all I can say is I liked it. It wasn't the most inventive cuisine I'd ever had, but it was perfectly well-made food to my palate. It's a reminder that everyone's take on that is going to be different. Now, there was a New York Times critic who gave Tavern on the Green a 0-star review, and LeRoy pointed out very simply, she thinks food is everything. I don't. She doesn't like big, splashy restaurants. Not everyone does, but he did, and I do, and I think you might. So when it is safe to go to restaurants and have restaurants open again, please take a look at quite a few splashy, fun, interesting ones and see what you think of the food. If it's good, great. If not, you still had quite an experience, and I hope we'll have that experience together. Please check me out at Beautiful New York Tours. You can search Beautiful New York Tours on Facebook or email me at baker.tours@yahoo.com. Again, that is baker.tours@yahoo. Thank you very much.